Hey guys, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are
Those Annoying Vegans! And here we are at the table for another mukbang response, as they are quite popular on this YouTube channel, because that's what you guys ask us to do the most.
Yeah.
So what are we having today, Anna?
We are having spaghetti squash.
Oh, yeah.
Steamed spaghetti squash with marinara sauce and fresh
Oil-free
marinara sauce and fresh tomatoes on top and steamed Brussels sprouts.
Got some...
Steamed? No.
Yeah, they were
like
sauteed with water, but threw some black pepper, some paprika, some salt, garlic powder, onion powder, I believe. And there's also some fresh basil in the marinara in addition to black pepper.
Yeah, fresh basil from our Trader Joe's plant that's like over a year old.
Yeah, it's a basil plant that never stops giving. I don't know what happened with that basil plant, but it's working.
Yeah.
Like it just keeps regrowing and we keep eating the basil. And then we have some Go Veggie vegan parm, and it is vegan parm because we get comments every time we have a Go Veggie product on this channel. It's the purple label, it's vegan. There is a blue label that's lactose free, don't know why. But this is not oil free, this has coconut oil in it, and so does the bread and the Miyoko's butter that's on the bread. So if you'd like to be oil free, just get rid of all this, and now you have an oil free meal.
Yeah.
But we're having a little bit of oil. It's not healthy. Oil's never healthy.
We have minimal oil.
Very minimal oil in our diet because we like to not damage our endotheliums. Shall we give it a taste test?
Yes. So I love spaghetti squash because it's kind of like spaghetti in the way that it feels like spaghetti with the marinara sauce and the, are we putting some of this on?
You can treat it, oh yeah.
Boop, boop.
I forgot to make our food unhealthy.
Just a sprinkle.
A spritz.
You do yours.
Of Go Veggie. That's so good. Oh yeah.
Squash is so good. And the Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. Very tasty.
I love Brussels sprouts.
They're good.
You're probably one of my favorite vegetables.
Brussels sprouts are amazing.
Yeah, they are.
They're like so good. I don't know why they get a bad rep. Some garlic salt, some black pepper on there. That's really the only spices you need. Garlic salt, black pepper.
They're juicy, they're soft and tender.
So today, what we're talking about? Oh, did you want to say it?
No, you say it.
So today, we are responding to a video by AlexandrasGirlyTalk, which is a YouTuber we were not familiar with whatsoever. Never heard of her before someone asked us to respond to a video of hers. But she does have 2.9 million subs.
Thus, she has a lot of power and a lot of responsibility.
And she made a video called We Need to Talk About, quote, Vegan. We're just going to do like a stop-start response style video to it. We're going to see what we need to talk about regarding veganism. Keeping in mind, veganism is, of course, the ethical lifestyle that seeks to exclude animal exploitation insofar as is possible and practicable. So let's see what Alexandra has to say about veganism. Here we go.
I didn't know if that was gonna make me, a bad person. Like, I've literally always eaten meat. Have you looked at my plate? And you're like, you're right, you always have. Well, damn, I just gotta start eating the veggies. I'm personally not called to be an activist for the animals, and overall feeling like shit. Veganism literally is probably the best diet, me personally, what I needed. And what I asked myself was, what is the thing that is making me do this? It's veganism. I did not look at my diet once and think, I want to eat meat. Why not? Why not? I don't normally make talk through videos because, well, a few reasons. Do you want to hear them? No. Hi, I'm Alexandra. I make YouTube videos. I make very edited YouTube videos. My masterpieces, things that I envision and I create, and I have so much fun doing it. But today, we're gonna get some closure on this. The theme of closure has been a really big one for me. I'm not the type of person who usually wraps things up with a conversation. I let things kind of, do this, and I let time go by. But some things deserve conversation, and my relationship with you, it definitely deserves conversation. I have helped a lot of people go vegan. I have created a lot of vegan content, and I have told you how vegan I am for years. And here I am telling you, I'm not vegan anymore. And I'm so happy. Isn't that weird?
She's so happy that she's now recontributing to the exploitation, the oppression, the enslavement, the torture, the murder of animals for an unnecessary purpose.
And she asks, isn't that weird? Well, yes.
Yeah, it's weird. The whole not vegan anymore thing, like, really, you're either vegan or you're not. How many times have we said that on this channel? Like, once you make the ethical connection, you decide that it's important to you to live a lifestyle that excludes the exploitation of animals. You just hold that belief now.
There is no going back. If you decide that racism is wrong, you're not going to just all of a sudden start being racist again.
Yeah. Same goes for homophobia, same goes for women's rights, transgender rights, like all the movements.
Yeah.
You know, we decide as a society, and you can decide as an individual, no, this aligns with my beliefs, and this is going to be how I live my life now. I recognize that I contributed to it in the past because I was brought up in this society that teaches everyone that it's normal, it's natural, it's necessary to exploit animals, but I'm going to choose not to do that going forward. But she's happy about it. Okay.
Weird. I mean, I never thought that I would, number one, not be vegan anymore, but number two, be confident and happy about it. I'm actually like in a great place. This is not like me, you know, coming in and like making an apology. This was a journey of about 5 years, so this shouldn't go without documentation. I went vegan overnight. I read something in a book that was like, the human digestive tract is so long, and when you put dead animals into that and then you expect yourself to feel like awake and alive, it might be hard to achieve that because the dead animals going through your system move much slower. Dead animals, number one, disgusting. Number two, that sounds terrible. I'm always tired. Maybe that's why. So I went vegan. I literally said, cancel the fridge, cancel the freezer, cancel dinner. I'm vegan now, honey. I do not waver. When I see something that needs to be changed, I'm doing that right away.
She doesn't waver except for now. This seems like a pretty big waver.
Yeah.
It's a reversal. It's a complete reversal of her ethical views.
I saw veganism as what I needed to do. Literally, me personally, what I needed. I had always been like a meat and potatoes kind of girl. Like I always ate something with cheese on it, or meat only, or meat and like potatoes, or meat and some type of rice. Going into this, I was feeling tired, but you know, I didn't want to lose weight or anything like that. I think the first night of veganism, I ate spinach like in my bed. I'm not even joking you. I was watching a lot of Freely the Banana Girl, and that girl pounds back all these vegetables, all these fruits, and I was like, well, damn, like I just gotta start eating the veggies. I had never done that before, and people were laughing at me in my life. They were like, you've never eaten vegetables? And I was like, not really, no. Like I've literally always eaten meat. Have you looked at my plate? And they're like, you're right, you always have. Fast forward, you know, I go vegan. I don't really start to feel more awake, but I also started exploring other things to help my energy levels. As a young person, I should feel awake. A 19-year-old, 20-year-old, like, of course I should feel quite awake. Actually, no, I think it was 20. No, it was 19. Yeah, it was 19. So you should feel really energized at that age. I started exploring vitamins, and like I went to a naturopathic doctor. So there were other action items I was taking in terms of making myself feel better and be in better health. I got a boob job somewhere along the way. That made me feel really sick. Had to revise them because they were like massive, and then I had to get like another boob job, and it was like a lot of money and a lot of stress and a lot of whatever. But I also felt really sick. So I was going through like a breast implant illness situation, being vegan, and overall feeling like shit. Now this isn't because veganism makes you unhealthy. It literally is probably the best diet, probably, in theory. The problem was,
I don't know that it's a theory anymore.
Yeah, I mean, when the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics comes out and says that a well-planned vegan diet is suitable for all stages of life, including pregnancy, lactation, all the way through old age, and for athletes, and the fact that a whole food plant-based diet is the only diet that has reversed our #1 killer, heart disease, I don't think it's, you know...
Theoretical.
Yes, human beings thrive on plants, and we suffer on animal products. That's true. We're 4 minutes in, and I haven't heard, like, any pushback.
Yeah, like so far she's acknowledging that veganism is healthy. Veganism is what she needed to do. It made her feel good.
Both spiritually, ethically, and physically, it seems, because she says it's the healthiest diet. So, okay.
that I wasn't willing to do any of that. I am so sorry. Like, I had no experience in that realm, and to just kind of wake up and be like, I'm vegan now. You know, I was trying my best to eat things that I knew were healthy, but I was never able to do it, and it became stressful. Like, it became really stressful. So I said, you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm gonna eat what I want. I'm gonna eat the veggie burgers. I was consuming soy carbs, and more soy with a little bit more carbs. No, that's like not great. Like, anybody can tell you that's not great.
So carbs, first of all, we're consuming carbs right now. By eating squash, you're consuming carbs. By eating Brussels sprouts, you're consuming carbs. By eating tomatoes, you're consuming carbs.
I don't think most people know why they think that carbs are bad.
No.
Like, I literally asked a friend who was carb cutting.
Yeah.
So why carbs? They never know.
I heard carbs are bad. I heard carbs make you fat. I heard carbs are whatever.
If carbs made you overweight, we'd be overweight.
Every vegan would be overweight.
Every vegan. We eat carbs. That's all we eat. Carbs. All day.
Because carbohydrates exist in fruit and veggies and nuts and seeds and grains, in legumes, leafy greens. Every single plant food contains predominantly carbohydrate. Won't go every, because there's avocados, there's nuts, there's seeds that are pretty high in fat. But if you just look at plant foods as a whole, there is a certain ratio of carbs to fat to protein. Those are just 3 macronutrients. So focusing on one macronutrient, I don't know. I'm guessing that by carbs, she means like bread or pasta or cookies.
processed carbs, you know.
Yeah. And soy, I don't know what's wrong with soy. Like,
what's wrong with soy? Are people so hung up on that?
Soybeans are very healthy. They actually
prevent cancer.
Yeah, they reduce your risk of breast cancer. They're good. Like edamame it's a very high fat bean, and so people like to eat, edamame. It's like, I don't know what this soy fear is. Tofu's good for you. Tempeh's good for you.
Yeah.
Soybeans are good for you. Soybean oil, not so much. Processed soy meat, not so much, but it's not the soybeans' fault. So I don't know what she meant by soy. I'm guessing she means the processed soy stuff.
I mean, organic is always better.
Sure.
Like with anything else. But again, it's a blanket statement that she doesn't explain. She just says they're bad for you, and that's it.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
It's not great. That's like, it's not healthy, and it's not okay. Now you see all of the passion that's in this, because it's like all of the while, I had done this for my health. I had gone vegan for my health, but I was starting to create a new narrative in my mind that I was doing this for the animals. And you know why? That's because every other person, it feels like, is doing it for the animals. And I don't know why. Why did I never do it for the animals? I don't know, I just didn't. I
mean, you can really only go vegan for the animals.
Yes.
Because, again, veganism is an ethical lifestyle. It is more likely that people will fall off the vegan wagon if they go vegan for health only, because it is much easier to cheat on a diet than it is to let down the animals. Like for us, when there is a bigger cause involved, there is no cheating. There is no letting the animals down. It's much easier to be like, well, I'm just gonna have one chicken nugget or one piece of cheese.
Right.
That's not veganism.
I know what people mean when they say it, because I think we even used to say it. Is that, you go vegan for health, or you go vegan. You start eating a plant-based diet for health, and it isn't until you really make that ethical connection that you are vegan.
Yeah.
Because you can eat a very unhealthy diet and still be vegan, and you can eat a very healthy plant-based diet and still be not vegan.
Animals are part of the environment. So they're not mutually exclusive. So if you go vegan for the environment, you are also going vegan for the animals.
Yeah.
If you say you went vegan for the environment and not the animals, that doesn't make sense.
Right. What is it about the environment that you're trying to save? If you're trying to save the rainforest, there are animals in the rainforest.
The oceans.
The oceans, there are animals in the oceans. Yeah.
The air quality is important because we all need air to breathe, including animals.
I just never... Eating meat was how I grew up, and I ate meat, and it was like, it just never had penetrated my world to go vegan for the animals. Now, this video is not just about me telling you my story. This is really important because something I've learned, I'm 24 now, and it's like, I realize that a lot of the life I've lived in 24 years has been figuring out what other people think is good and trying to do as close to or do that because it makes me worthy, because it makes me accepted, because it makes me a good person. That's not true for me anymore. Like, I have completely switched because I need to be me. I cannot be a human for other people because it makes me unhappy. I got to a point where I was feeling so depressed, and it wasn't about vegan, it wasn't about my breast implants, it wasn't about anything in particular other than the combination of me not holding my own ground in situations that I should have. And that was coming through in my diet, in my career, everywhere. And I needed to take control of that. I did not look at my diet once and think, I want to eat meat. I did not look at my diet once and think, maybe vegan isn't healthy, because I think it's healthy. I think it's very, very healthy. But what I did have happen was a spiritual kind of moment. I traveled to Malibu and I had a meditation where I will give you the short version here, okay? I traveled there and I asked myself, I asked the universe to show me, what is this? What is this? Like, show me how this works. What is this? The world. Show me, why am I here? What is the purpose? Why? Like, show me something. And I got a lot. I got a lot out of that meditation. It was a very intense weekend. It was like 3 days, and every night I was going into meditation. And I was doing work on myself that was very hard to do, like really, really hard to feel those emotions. And ultimately, I came out of it realizing that there was a lot of tension, a lot of physical tension in my body as a result of me judging myself and others. And I started to explore why that was. And I realized that my diet was literally making me think that people were either good or bad. And that was killing me. I started to look at veganism as the correct thing to do. It's healthy. It's amazing for the animals. It's kind. Why aren't you doing it? And I started to look at people as though they were wrong for not seeing what I saw.
Well, I think that's pretty normal. You know, I think when you first go vegan, for example, if you watch Dominion for the first time and you've never seen that type of footage, and you finally realize what it actually takes to put a piece of animal flesh on your plate, or put a piece of cheese on your plate, or put an egg on your plate, you are mad. Like, you are angry at the world. You are disheartened. You do get frustrated. You're like, how can people do this? Like, this is wrong. Well, I need to stop this right now. And a lot of people go through, you know, we call it the angry vegan phase.
Yeah. we
had it.
We did.
We did/do still go through angry vegan phases. But you have to find somewhere to put that anger and put that frustration. It's passion.
Yeah.
It's, you know, as Joey Carbstrong says, there's a fire in your heart, let it light up the world. There was something inside of you that thought that the way things are is wrong and we need to change it. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, if that's what you came up with during meditation, what's wrong with that?
No. We still don't know what's wrong because we haven't really heard what's wrong yet. But I mean, if you're finding yourself getting angry at non-vegans, I think that's normal. But, you know, all of us vegans find different ways to deal with that. And of course, being angry and being belligerent and being insulting or being aggressive is not always the best tactic to help other not yet vegans go vegan.
Yeah.
So we find other ways to do it.
Yeah. As that saying goes, be the vegan that you would have wanted to meet when you were not vegan yet.
Now, whether veganism is the right diet or not, go off in the comments. But what is really not okay for us as people is to be judging each other with that amount of conviction. You know, you're either good or bad, and if you're not doing this, like, that is a cult mentality. That is not good or okay.
I don't know that judging others is cultish. It's just...
No.
I think a certain degree of judgment is necessary in society. You know, we are judging people who commit murder. We judge them all the time. We go to courthouses and judge them and say that that is wrong. Whether they're a horrible person for doing that or whatever the circumstances are, it is a wrongful act.
And good people do bad things all the time. In the same way that you would judge someone for abusing their dog, I think it's okay to judge someone for contributing to unnecessary animal violence.
If they're doing it knowingly. It's one thing to knowingly cause animal suffering, to watch the footage and still go buy a steak afterwards, versus having no clue that that's what happened, having never made the ethical connection, and then witnessing the suffering, and then aligning your actions with your values and deciding to stop contributing to that suffering and violence.
Yeah, and I also would like to push back on her notion that vegans judge people as either good or bad. I don't think that's true. We don't do that, and most of the vegans we know don't do that. We understand that good people can do bad things, as we said, and many people grow up in a culture where eating animals is normal, so of course they're going to just eat animals. When you've been taught since you were a toddler that chickens and cows and pigs are for eating, and dogs and cats and rabbits are for petting, then what else are you supposed to think? You know what I mean? Everybody else does it. Your mom does it, your dad does it, your family does it, your friends do it. Like, it's normal. So I don't think that all vegans have this notion that meat eaters are all bad people.
And I wanted to get rid of that. And what I asked myself was, what is the thing that is making me do this? It's veganism. I had this massive internal dialogue that if I were to eat meat or something that came from an animal intentionally, that I was a really bad person and that I wouldn't be accepted by any of the vegans anymore, and that those were kind of like my people, and that it would make me terrible, and it actually makes me so uncomfortable to think about being a bad person. This goes all the way back to childhood when you're just trying to be loved and accepted by other people, and maybe you've been in situations where you weren't, and to feel that same, that's the root feeling. And I always have wanted to avoid that, but you know what? I said, not this time, because for me, I want to eat some meat, and I want to explore what it's like.
Explore what it's like?
I mean...
Don't you know what it's like?
We know that feeling accepted and feeling like you're a good person is important to her, to Alexandra. But I don't know that that depends on what everyone else is doing. If you know that eating animals causes them pain and suffering, and that that's bad, and you want to continue to cause that pain and suffering, then I don't know if I'd call that being a bad person as much as just being ignorant. Because that just means you have not made the ethical connection. You might know that you're causing pain and suffering, but you don't understand it. You know, there's a difference, we said it before, there's a difference between knowing and understanding.
It's not a popular comparison, but it's true. It's the same as when slavery was normal, and everyone viewed slavery as normal. And then at some point, people started saying, hey, wait a minute, this is wrong. I don't think this is a good idea. I think we should stop this. And maybe there were people back before slavery was abolished who they made the ethical connection and realized, no, these are people. They deserve equal treatment. They're human beings. This is wrong. What we're doing to them is wrong. And everyone else in society was like, what do you mean? They're slaves. Who cares? But that doesn't mean that you're wrong for feeling that way. And it's not like, oh, my anti-slavery views made me feel like other people were bad for having slaves. It's like, well, no, your anti-slavery views made you feel like slavery's wrong.
It's about the thing. It's not about other people. Not judging other people is a choice that she could have made independently of veganism. That's just a choice you make. You can decide if you don't want to judge other people, don't judge other people.
Right. And if you're talking about, oh, but I had judgmental thoughts that pop up, we could get into a really deep debate as to whether or not we're actually in control of our own thoughts or whether they just pop into our head uncontrollably. But your thoughts are not your words or your actions. So the beautiful thing about your thoughts is they can stay right up there in your head.
And then you can
no one has to know.
Devise ways of speaking to people respectfully, and it's all about understanding people too. Those thoughts are natural, but you can choose how to speak to people. You can choose to understand them and to remember that you were once there too. And just realize that this is just a messed up system of indoctrination that we've just been, it's just infiltrated the fabric of our society.
I didn't know if I was gonna like it. I thought it was gonna be disgusting, this and that. I had some organic, GMO, amazing quality turkey bacon, I think it was. And butter on my toast. I could cry. Butter on my toast was no more soy, oil-based butter, real butter. And I was so happy. I was so happy. And I didn't know what that meant for who I was as a person.
Real butter. As I'm eating a piece of toast with something that tastes like real butter, but did not involve the death of a baby cow or his mother.
Miyoko's vegan butter. It tastes exactly like butter. And for her to be so happy about consuming real butter, we're not keeping in mind the victim here. You're saying, oh, I got so much taste pleasure out of eating real butter. There's direct animal death involved in the dairy industry.
Oh, yeah.
And so being happy about consuming the product of exploitation, oppression, torture, murder. That's not a good mindset. We understand, hey, there was this taste thing and we were all, brought up eating real butter and milk and meat, and maybe you miss those flavors. And that's why the vegan alternatives of those foods exist. Like vegan butter, like vegan cheese, like vegan milk and creamer, and all these vegan products are there to satisfy that taste that was instilled into our young developing taste buds that now we're so addicted to.
And see, that's the problem. She said she went vegan for health, not really the animals. And so obviously she's failing to make the ethical connection when it comes to butter, the dairy industry.
I didn't know if that was going to make me, a bad person. And it didn't. It didn't make me a bad person. I continued to dabble into eating eggs and turkey bacon for about a week. And it was a great week. I felt really, really great. And then I started to eat other types of meat. Fast forward. I'm eating meat. I'm eating my meat and my potatoes. And I'm happy.
Not your meat.
Ooh.
This is the flesh of another animal. It's not your meat. People say my meat, my eggs, it's not yours. Mm-mm. It belongs to an animal.
A baby animal that wanted to live. Mm-hmm. And had no choice but to suffer and die at the hands of human oppressors.
I'm happy. And I'm adding in vegetables. I have been making an effort to add in salads and taking what I learned from the greatness of veganism and adding some of those nuts and seeds and things that I think are really fantastic at the core of a vegan diet. And I'm just adding it into my non-vegan diet. I'm really, really enjoying eating fish. That's the thing that makes me feel so good. I don't
not a thing, an animal.
Nitpick. I don't go to a restaurant and ask if it's GMO this. I don't. I'm the type of person who will go to the other grocery store to get the more ethical, the better, all of that stuff. But I'm super loosey-goosey.
Do we need to touch on the more ethical thing again? I don't think so.
There's no such thing as ethical meat, ethical dairy, ethical eggs.
It all involves exploitation. And
she just flat out said she doesn't care. She'll buy the quote-unquote ethical meat at the grocery store, but when she goes to a restaurant, she doesn't care as much. Again, when you go vegan for health, which isn't a thing, this is what this leads to. Now she's just back to exploiting all animals.
Yeah.
All industries. Eggs, dairy, meat. She's eating turkey bacon.
And apparently trying to convince herself that she's not a bad person for it. Right. She made an entire video that just sounds like she's not very sure, even though she says she is, but we're making a video about it and there's a lot of mulling over it. I don't know that she's sure that this was the right decision. It sounds like she's trying to justify this to herself.
Yep.
Loosey-goosey with it. And it feels really good that way. It feels like I'm not bound by my diet, and that feels really freeing, and that has affected me in so many good ways.
Well, of course, being loosey-goosey makes you feel good. Ignorance is always easier. Yeah. Sweeping stuff under the rug is easier. Yeah. Doesn't mean it's good or right. No. There's still a reality outside of the way you feel, and that is that animals are suffering and dying for your meal.
Again, we could put it in the human context and just say I'm loosey-goosey on racial equality. It feels good. It just feels good to be racist sometimes, and other times I'm not racist, but sometimes I am, and I don't have to be bound by this anti-racism mindset, man. I can just, I'm just loosey-goosey with it. I mean, we could put it in another context that people are familiar with, domesticated animals. Could say, sometimes I beat my dog, but most of the time I don't beat my dog, but sometimes I do, and I'm just loosey-goosey with it. I don't feel confined by this anti-dog beating mentality that I used to have. I just whatever it feels right in the moment. It's a bizarre mentality to have.
In the rest of my life, because ultimately it came down to me asking myself, is it possible for you to judge yourself less by not judging others, by trusting that you are okay and that the things you want to do and the things that you're drawn to are for you, and it's okay if they're not for somebody else? I want to circle this back to the fact that I really appreciate veganism, vegans, and I appreciate that there are people actively called to pursue betterment of, the entire structure of the meat industry, but also animals in particular. I think people are spending time with animals on farms, reintegrating animals that have been treated very badly into a habitat that's supportive. That is something that I feel is very good. However, I'm personally...
That was a huge euphemism for rescuing animals literally off of horrible situations and taking them to the place where they deserve to live out their lives happily.
Yeah, she said where animals are treated horribly. A lot of animals just get rescued from slaughterhouses or from factory farms.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, they were being abused excessively. No, that's their life. Their life is a life of abuse. Yeah. It's a life of exploitation, oppression, torture, and ultimately murder.
And apparently she gives a huge thumbs up to those who make that possible for the animals, but she's not called to do that.
She's not going to do that.
She's not called to be an activist or a vegan. Her role is not to not contribute unnecessarily to the torture, enslavement, and suffering of animals. Yeah. That's not what she's called to do. So let's see which...
But lip service to veganism, because, hey, y'all are doing a good job.
Yeah.
But I'm just not going to do it anymore.
It's very common, a lot of, people we know, it's like, good job.
Yeah, good job for what you guys are doing. I'm going to be over here continuing doing the thing that you stand against.
Yeah.
And I stand against in my own moral system. I'm just choosing to put blinders on and go about my day as if I'm not harming animals when I clearly am.
Not realizing that it's because of those people that we continue to go to vigils.
Personally called to do much different things with my life. I'm personally not called to be an activist for the animals. I have my own purpose, and that's okay. And I think everybody has their own purpose, and that's okay.
Again, we could put this in the human context, and we could rewind a couple hundred years and say, well, look, I know you guys are anti-slavery, and this is important to you. I'm not called to be someone who's passionate about freeing slaves, so you guys are doing great work, but I'm going to be over here continuing to have slaves. Maybe someday slavery will be made illegal, and then I guess it'll be what it'll be. But I'm not personally called to act on this moral atrocity. Mm-hmm. But you guys keep doing it. You guys
doing a good job.
You can have me, and I can have you too, and you can have you, and you can have me too, and we can accept each other, and we can understand that this doesn't have to be a tit for tat. If you live this way, you're that way, and if you don't, you're this. It doesn't have to be like that. We can all accept each other, we can all love each other and create space for each other, and trust me, life gets a lot better when we start doing that, and it's baby steps.
I don't accept rapists. Mm-hmm. I don't accept murderers.
Yeah.
I don't accept...
child abusers, spouse abusers.
Yeah. There are things that are okay not to accept. This is just a loophole that she's trying to create to make it fit her decision to not be vegan anymore.
And again, how she says, it doesn't have to be, well, I'm this way and you're that way and I can't accept you or what, that's not I don't think no vegan thinks that way. There's not a vegan who's like, you're non-vegan, then you're out of, my consideration.
We're still friends with non-vegans.
Yes, and we understand that we need non-vegans.
Yeah.
We need non-vegans to be open to veganism in order for veganism to continue to grow. And it's growing at an amazing rate, exponential rate. Every year, more and more people going vegan when they're made aware of the atrocities in the animal agriculture industry. But we need non-vegans to be open to the message and keep planting those seeds, keep watering those seeds. Mm-hmm. We don't write off non-vegans from our life. That would be completely unproductive.
Yeah. Plus, again, we were there too. Mm-hmm. People are capable of changing.
And it's baby steps, Baby steps all the time. You're not going to be perfect, ever. Surprise. Okay, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because if you didn't give it a thumbs up, then it's going to think that you don't like me. But if you don't like me and you didn't like this video, definitely give it a thumbs down so that I know that, because I'd want to know. I'm the type of person who'd want to know. Okay, I love you guys so much. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending time with me. And I'm gonna hang up first. I can't with me. I can't. I can't with me. I can't with me. I can't with me. I can't with me, sweetie.
Okay, there's a lot of me in this video. That's,
me, I. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me, my journey, me, myself, and I, and just me is the theme of this video.
I think she just wanted to go back to eating animal products, and she did. And then she was looking for some sort of justification for why it's okay to do so, which is what happens when you're not vegan and you haven't made the ethical connection. You just begin eating a plant-based diet, but you still miss the animal flesh and the breast milk and the chicken periods and the flesh of a salmon.
Like again, we're trying to, look for analogies here, but if you stop beating your dog or cat because someone told you that it's wrong, or that because the general population views it as a wrongful act, but you don't know why it's wrong, then you see the disconnect. It's much easier to go back to it because you can just be like, oh, well, I don't feel like it's wrong, so I'm just going to keep doing it.
She also seems like the type of person that really cares about what other people think of her.
Yeah.
Which makes it difficult to join a group that sort of goes against the grain of society, like vegans do. And what you have to realize is that veganism is not about you. It's not about the way you feel. It's not about whether you're accepted by the majority, because if the majority of people are doing something wrong, that doesn't make that activity right all of a sudden.
Yeah.
If the majority of people were participating in other horrific crimes and activities, that wouldn't make those crimes and activities moral. What we would say is what Natasha and Luca always say, which is be that person. Be that person that stands up for her ethics, her values, her beliefs. Be that person that stands up for the animals. Be that person with conviction, with strength. Be that person who cares. And if other people don't care, that's their problem. And if they want to make you feel bad for caring, they're not really mad at you. They're wrestling with their own conscience.
Yeah.
It's seemingly the same way Alexandra's wrestling with her own conscience in this video.
Yeah.
The world going vegan is inevitable. It's only a matter of time. It's not an if, it's only a matter of when. And the faster we can get people to make that ethical connection, the faster we will see a vegan world. And unfortunately, Alexandra seemingly never made the connection. But hopefully she does someday. I don't know if Alexandra's ever watched Dominion or Earthlings or been to an animal save vigil. She said she went to Malibu. I'm going to guess maybe she lives in LA. There's a slaughterhouse right in downtown LA. It's called Farmer John. We hold vigil twice a week there.
Yep.
More than welcome to join anytime you'd like.
It's funny because whenever people make fun of our vigil photos with whatever seemingly witty comments they think they're leaving, mostly bacon related.
Yeah.
Because everyone's so original with the bacon comments nowadays. When we invite them to come to a vigil, no one takes us up on the offer. I wonder why. Could it be because you feel that it's wrong what we're doing to the animals, and that it might actually be difficult for you to be there and witness it for yourself, because then you would be forced to make a change?
They don't want to be faced with that type of emotional reality. But it will only strengthen you. No one has ever gone to a vigil and wished they hadn't gone to a vigil.
Yeah, it fuels you. It fuels your passion for the movement, and it fuels your activism, and we strongly recommend it. For anyone who gets upset with us for dispensing information, don't get upset with us.
It's just the truth.
It's the truth. Go see it come see it for yourself. We're there twice a week, every week. Just show up. Follow LA Animal Save or Animal Alliance Network for the schedule.
You always have to put it in the perspective of the victim. That you always have to do that when it comes to veganism. So if you felt good about eating butter, let's see how the baby cow and her mother feels. To have children stolen from you 5 or 6 times and then ultimately get slaughtered for your flesh. That's unacceptable. We wouldn't accept that in the human context, and we can't accept it in the animal context. Okay, butter tastes good to you. Well, we have vegan butter.
You don't really go vegan because animal flesh stopped tasting good.
Yeah.
It's because it's wrong.
Yeah.
To eat the flesh of an animal who wants to live. That's just weird. It's so weird.
I didn't stop liking pizza or cheeseburgers or buffalo wings when I went vegan. Just now have the vegan alternatives.
Yeah, it just looks like maybe because she's so concerned about what other people think, that maybe part of the reason she was inspired to go vegan at first was because she wanted to please other people, because she wanted to fit in to a particular image.
Or it was a trend. That just means you were never vegan, and it's unfortunate. Especially if you're out there making vegan content, quote unquote vegan content, where you're encouraging other people to eat a 100% plant-based diet.
Just the simple fact that many of these YouTubers are still keeping their vegan videos up on YouTube means that they must still agree with that veganism is the better choice.
Or they just
don't
care, and whatever is going to earn
money. Yeah.
Whatever's going to earn the money is going to earn the money. A lot of them are like businesses. Businesses are not immoral. They are amoral. And I think it's working against their favor because a lot of these YouTubers are losing subs. They're losing Instagram followers. They're getting a lot of thumbs down. They're getting negative comments. I don't know. I guess maybe they thought in their minds, I'll come out as no longer vegan and it'll blow over. And it's not really blowing over because more and more people are going vegan every day. So it's unfortunate. But that was our video, our response to Alexandra's Girly Talk. What did you guys think of the video? Please let us know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please click that thumbs up button down below. That really helps us out. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe! And make sure you slam that notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time we put out a new video.
And check us out on Facebook and Instagram and Etsy for some cool vegan swag. And a huge thank you to our Patreon patrons. Thank you so much for supporting us, supporting this channel, and supporting our activism. And if you like what we do and would like to support us, the Patreon link is in the description below. Bye.
Buzz is sitting behind me.
If you want to communicate with us, best do it through Instagram, because although we are active on Facebook, to the extent that whatever we post on Instagram automatically posts to Facebook.
That's our method.
Because it's too much, guys. It's so much. We don't have a Twitter because we'd probably keel over from exhaustion. I check the Facebook every now and then, but not often.
We're not really on there all that much. You know, every 33 seconds, someone has a heart attack in this country.
I wonder why.
And 1 out of 3 of those people die from it. That's according to Dr. Michael Clapper.
A lot of people, like looking through the comments, a lot of people, pretty much 9 out of 10 comments are in disagreement with this video. Oh, someone else said all I hear from you recently is me. It's not just me. It's just